So first off, I would like to apologize for not uploading in such a long time. I'm sure people are very upset, and honestly, it's been a lot of personal stuff just going on that hasn't really allowed me to upload these past few weeks. This last week has been a lot better for me, and I'm sure these next few weeks will also be pretty easy for me as well, aside from exams and stuff. So I should be able to upload more regularly again. People who have been subscribed to me for a very long time know that I kind of go on these periodic breaks either due to school, personal issues, just a bunch of stuff. So if you were concerned as to why I was gone for so long, don't worry, I'm not sick, I'm not dying. Mostly it's just been a bunch of life stuff going on. A family member has passed and I've just been not feeling well these past few weeks. I've had school, I've had exams, I still have exams coming up, and just life has taken priority. So I'm sure a lot of you understand. Hopefully nobody gets too upset over my huge absence. So getting into the actual review, Chopper and Brook are making their own plans on the sidelines, and Chopper seems to want to free Carrot and potentially use Brulee's power against Big Mom, and her mirror power allows him to go all over the island. So Chopper might play a role in freeing Luffy and Nami or actually saving Sanji himself. And I could see Chopper taking down Brulee, that's not really much of a concern, but actually getting out of the mirror dimension and using her powers might be a little bit difficult because we don't know how her powers exactly work. Will he have to take her hostage, or could he just jump out of the mirror and use it? We may have to see him actually taking her hostage or convincing her to join with him. And with Brook, we see this chapter that him and Pedro are actually enacting their plan to basically get the road poneglyph. And Brook was a monster this chapter. His little soul power-up looked a lot like Ashura, which is pretty interesting considering both are named soul powers by Kaku and Brook himself. So this does seem to be some kind of ability that others can use, which is very interesting. And this little power-up he has doesn't seem to be like Conqueror's Haki, where you just immobilize souls. He's actually sort of like controlling them and manipulating them because his power relies on soul control. And it's pretty interesting that souls are becoming such a useful weapon in the series. We see Big Mom, Zoro, maybe even Sanji, and Brook all using the power of the soul. So I'm not sure how major this will end up being in the future. I mean, even Cracker had the power to scare away the homies with his soul, and it wasn't exactly Conqueror's Haki, it was something else. And this goes back to sort of an old idea of mine, which is sort of the manifestation of spirits and souls in One Piece, and it could connect to Haki somehow. It's not very clear yet because Haki seems like it could be a little bit different than the actual soul. But I just found that panel to be amazing, especially if you are a fan of Brook in any way. I have done Brook videos in the past, so I really enjoy just how his character is expanded. His powers and how they link to the underworld are very interesting. And if you could actually use any sort of spiritual power like this and combine it with his ice ability, it would be interesting if he could actually defeat a powerful member of Big Mom's crew. And I don't see him actually defeating Smoothie, but I could see him potentially getting the jump on her and maybe escaping with the coordinates from the road poneglyph. And the interesting thing with Smoothie is that she drains the juices out of people, it seems, and I'm sure there's a lot more to her power than that. But Brook seems like he could be immune to that power because he is, of course, nothing but bones, and he doesn't seem to have that many juices in his body, obviously. And we know with Luffy versus Enel was a lot stronger than Luffy, but because Luffy had an immunity to electricity, Luffy had the jump on Enel, and perhaps Brook could get the jump on Smoothie because her powers won't really work, and he could not so much beat her, but just get past her, get the jump on her. And since juice is sort of her weapon, Brook could potentially freeze the juice and use that against her because we know his power is ice. So it's a pretty good matchup on Brook's end, I think. And we also saw with Nami versus Cracker, Cracker's biscuits were weakened by Nami's rain. So this could play out to be a very similar situation where the matchup just seems to be in the Straw Hats' favor. And I know I haven't been around for the last few chapters, but this chapter especially was a major theory buster for, I think, a few theories. The whole Pudding is evil theory and the whole Pedro is a traitor theory. And I was actually pretty convinced of a few of these theories that were debunked. I think there was another one debunked last chapter. But yeah, this arc has had a lot of different twists and just different sides to characters we didn't expect. We see especially this chapter that Pudding is not really evil and she's actually actively trying to save Sanji and the crew. And she seems to actually want to sacrifice herself even for the sake of Luffy and Sanji escaping. This is pretty evident because we see Pudding going back and forth between two sides, basically Lola and Big Mom. Lola in the flashback was basically saying that she wanted to marry somebody out of her own will and didn't want Big Mom sort of deciding for her. And she said that Big Mom wouldn't really mind, she wouldn't really kill her or anything like that extreme, which is obviously untrue based on what we heard last chapter. And we hear the side of Big Mom, what Big Mom has basically said to her, which is always listen to Big Mom and always listen to your mother and blah, blah, blah. And obviously at the end of the chapter, we see that she picked the side of Lola and wanted to make her own choice. So I would bet on the fact that she's probably going to steal the handcuff keys from Big Mom and go free Sanji and have them escape. And then obviously this whole wedding will be destroyed from that. And that is why Luffy and Nami are so scared. They realize that Big Mom is very, very cynical and that if the wedding is ruined, she will kill Pudding, basically. And we obviously saw a while back Big Mom already killed one of her sons with her soul power, so killing her own daughters just seems to be easy for her. And this obviously raises the question, will Pudding be safe at the end of this arc? Which is most likely a no if she does stay with Big Mom, because she will most likely be the blame for all of this. And the only place she could really be safe maybe is the Straw Hats, or maybe going off on her own journey. It's sort of up in the air, I guess, but yeah, she's not going to be safe with Big Mom anymore, so she's going to probably have to book it at the end of all of this. So yeah, if she does follow through with anything like that, I could really see the Pudding for Straw Hats really coming to fruition. So that whole idea, yeah, it does seem a lot more likely now. I could probably buy into it if we do see some interesting power-ups from Pudding, and maybe that whole third eye she has actually shows to have some kind of use. And I did see a really interesting theory on Twitter about her third eye potentially seeing the future. And we know this is possible because she never really met with Sanji before, but we did see that she had somewhat of a flashback of her meeting Sanji and getting a bouquet from him. But since we know that didn't happen before, based on last chapter, maybe this is actually a situation that happens in the future, because Sanji this chapter was gathering flowers for the bouquet. So if she could actually see the future, that could allow her to outsmart Big Mom and actually get the handcuffs. So those are all my thoughts pretty much for this chapter. I'm sorry once again for the huge break. I will be uploading more regularly. Hopefully, I have a lot more ideas to be released, and those will take some time to really work on. But do expect to see some more theories, and other than that, I will see you all next time.